Right. Welcome to the explainer. If you're navigating the incredibly high stakes world of India's power sector, you already know that securing a reliable coal supply is, well, it's absolutely everything. But the rules of the game just got a major update. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has officially approved the revised Shakti policy for 2025. And with that comes a complex, highly time sensitive auction process that can literally make or break your plant's operations for the year. So consider this explainer your ultimate roadmap. We're going to decode the exact steps you need to take to secure coal under these new guidelines, specifically focusing on the short-term Window 2 auction. We're going to get you completely ready to come out on top. Look, the guidelines we're breaking down today come straight from a dense 114-page standard scheme document published by Coal India Limited. They are the ultimate authority here. And honestly, if you misinterpret even a single clause in this thing, you could find your power plant completely locked out of the auction room, or worse, forfeiting millions of rupees in security deposits. Nobody wants that. So we're going to cut through all that heavy legal jargon and give you a crystal clear, actionable strategy. Here is exactly what we are covering today. Intro to Shakti 2025, meeting eligibility, calculating quantity, registration and fees, the auction process, and winning bids and supply. Okay, Section 1, Intro to Shakti 2025, Understanding Window 2. Let's start with the basics of what we're actually bidding on today. The revised Shakti policy basically has two windows. Window 1 is just for central and state GenCos at notified prices. We are bypassing that and focusing entirely on Window 2, where coal linkage is offered to all GenCos at a premium. And specifically, we're zooming in on the short-term auction under Window 2. This is a highly dynamic, half-yearly event. It's designed strictly to lock in supply for a maximum 12-month utilization period, catering specifically to short-term power generation needs. Because of that short time frame, it is incredibly competitive. Moving on to Section 2, Meeting Eligibility. Do you qualify? Before we talk strategy or dive into the math, we have to make absolutely sure your plant is legally allowed to even step foot in the auction room. Coal India Limited has laid out some very strict parameters. Yes, commissioned thermal power plants are eligible. Imported coal-based plants with a power purchase agreement can also jump in, provided you're passing the benefits on to the PPA holder. Greenfield plants near pitheads? You're good to go. But wait, here is the major catch for existing fuel supply agreement or FSA holders. You must have procured exactly 100% of your annual contracted quantity last year. If your procurement fell short for reasons tied back to your plant, that exact shortfall is going to be brutally deducted from your eligible quantity in this new auction. So, take a second. Does your plant check those rigorous boxes? Have you maintained totally perfect compliance with your existing agreements? If you can confidently say yes, then it is time to calculate exactly how much coal you are legally allowed to bid for. Section 3. Calculating quantity. The eligible coal formula. You know, you can't just throw out a bid for whatever huge quantity you desire. You have to follow this exact formula, which is calculated in a G13 grade equivalent. Basically, your eligible quantity starts at your 100% plant load factor requirement. But from that absolute maximum, you have to strictly subtract a few things. Your existing long-term linkages, any coal you already have available from captive coal blocks, and, like we just talked about, any of those previous procurement shortfalls. It's a highly precise calculation, guys, and you have to submit a self-certified declaration of this exact math during registration. If you get this wrong, you're risking immediate disqualification and some pretty severe penalties. Now, to establish that baseline requirement we just talked about, you have to use the Central Electricity Authority Normative Coal Requirement Matrix. This is basically the rule book. It dictates your normative coal requirement at 100% PLF based on your plant's specific technology, so whether you're running subcritical or supercritical, and the exact grade of coal you're dealing with. This is not a suggestion. It is the mandatory baseline for your entire eligible quantity formula. Literally every megawatt of your installed capacity gets multiplied by the specific consumption norm dictated by this matrix. All right, Section 4, Registration and Fees. The price of admission. With your numbers accurately calculated, it's time to actually pay up and register your specified end-use plant on the MJ Palunchan portal. First off, you'll need to drop a non-refundable 10,000 rupee registration fee, plus taxes, just to get access to the electronic platform. Obviously, if you're already registered from previous rounds with the same provider, you can just use your old credentials. But for new participants, this is step 1. But hey, that 10,000 rupees, that is just a drop in the bucket. The real financial commitment hits before the auction even starts.
You have to deposit a total of 150 rupees per ton of your intended bid quantity. That breaks down into a 50 rupee per ton process fee and a 100 rupee per ton bid security. Think about that. If you're planning to bid on 1 million tons, you need to deposit 150 million rupees upfront. And, crucially, this massive sum must be transferred via RTGS at least one full business day before the auction kicks off. The absolute hard deadline is 23:59 hours the night before. If you miss that deadline by a minute, you are totally locked out.
That brings us to Section 5, the auction process, strategy, and seniority. Now we're in the arena. During the 3-hour auction window, you're going to submit a single sealed bid for a specific lot. You'll declare the quantity you want and the exact premium you're willing to pay above the reserve floor price. But listen closely. Your bid has to align perfectly with the transport factor. Road mode is pretty flexible. It only requires a minimum bid of 100 tons. But if you're bidding on a rail mode source, your bids have to be in massive blocks, multiples of 4,000 tons. You can tweak your price and quantity as many times as you want during those 3 hours, sure, but whatever is sitting there at the final buzzer is your firm, binding bid. Let's see how bid seniority actually plays out in real life. Once the window slams shut, the system ranks everybody's bids from the highest price down to the lowest. Say we have a 10 million ton lot. Bidder D bids the highest at 2820 rupees. Boom, they get their 3 million tons first. Bidder B is up next at 2800 rupees, taking 5 million. Then bidder A, who bid 2750 rupees for 4 million tons, well, there are only 2 million tons left, so bidder A only gets 2 million. And bidder C, they bid the lowest at 2700 rupees, so they go home with absolutely nothing. Highest price always wins first, and if there happens to be a tie on price, whoever requested the larger quantity takes the win. Finally, Section 6, winning bids and supply, sealing the deal. Okay, let's assume you played it perfectly. You placed a winning bid and you just got your intimation letter. Take a breath, because the clock immediately starts ticking on your compliance. Within 3 days of the auction ending, Coal India issues that letter. From that exact moment, you have precisely 21 days to submit a massive performance security and file all your final affidavits. Once the service provider verifies those, you have a maximum of 10 days to digitally execute your actual fuel supply agreement. Missing any of these tight deadlines means total forfeiture of your bid security and waving goodbye to that coal you just fought so hard to win. And keep in mind that performance security is no joke. It's a substantial financial lock designed to make sure you follow through. They calculate it by taking your total allocated quantity and multiplying it by whichever of these two numbers is higher, either the price difference between the regulated and non-regulated sector notified prices or 6% of the notified price. Whichever one stings more, basically. And that security deposit has to remain valid for a full 14 months from the date your coal supply actually starts. So, once that agreement is finally digitally signed, the supply phase officially begins. You have a very strict 6-month window to physically lift the coal from the source, subject to railway rules, of course. Then you have exactly 12 months from the date the FSA was signed to fully utilize that coal for generating power. And you aren't done there. Once it's used, you have to submit a self-certified utilization certificate within 1 month just to prove that the coal was used strictly for its specified end use, like supplying a PPA or selling on an approved power market platform. Ultimately, the Shakti window to auction is a pretty ruthless, highly organized machine. It's designed to distribute resources to those who are the most prepared and, frankly, the most willing to pay the premium. So double-check your math using the CEA matrix, prep your capital for that hefty bid security, and make absolutely sure your bidding strategy is completely flawless before that 3-hour window opens up. The rules are set in stone, the stakes are millions of tons of coal, and the clock is ticking. So the only question left is, are your numbers ready for auction day?